His last 5, not so good, just 2 and 3. And there is his opponent out of Cuba, known as El Más Talentoso, which I'm told is the great talent. He's from Cuba, graduated high school there in 1999, and has a perfect record of 14-0 with 9 knockouts. He is 32 years old, but I'm sure an extensive amateur career in Cuba.
Want a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
Just how extensive? Well, I got the answer for you. A little over 300 amateur fights for Barrera, but of course, Lacy, 220 amateur fights. He was a member of the 2000 U.S. Olympic team, but that was a long time ago. You touched on it. Lacy's lost 4 of his last 7, knocked out twice in those losses. I think Lacy has the looks of a shot fighter to me. Barrera, I'm going to say Barrera's going to knock him out. And I know that's going way out on the limb. Most people don't say that before the fights. They wait till, you know, the guy's been down 4 times and they say, well, you know what, he might knock him out. But I've gone out on the limb before. I'm going to say Barrera knocks out Lacy. We'll find out. I'm just wondering whether or not the people here have basically served the former world champion Lacy up as a sacrificial lamb to an undefeated prospect who maybe they think is going somewhere.
Big right hand connects from Barrera, and all of a sudden Lacy's quickly back against the ropes.
I just don't think Lacy should be fighting anymore. I really have my doubts about him at 37 years of age. You know, not just fighting, but fighting with this kind of an opponent in this kind of spot.
Lacy beat some of the best B-level, B-plus level fighters in the world, but when he got up to that A-level, when he fought Roy Jones and Joe Calzaghe and Jermaine Taylor, he never could get it done.
Don't push. Don't push.
Barrera now teeing off indiscriminately to Lacy.
Step back. Let him out. Step back.
Lacy from 7 years ago probably knocks Barrera out. But tonight, not looking good so far, a minute into round 1.
Yeah, I have my doubts whether or not someone like Lacy, again, 220 amateur fights, a lot of fights, former world champion, taking a lot of punches, a lot of miles on that odometer. That might question whether or not he should be fighting. I don't think he should be fighting anymore. I don't think he should have been in the ring with his opponent. I said it before the first punch was thrown.
7.
And obviously, I'm saying it again.
Come here. Walk to me. Come here. You all right?
Not for a lack of being in shape. You see he's got a 6-pack. He's toned, looks fantastic, but he's been in so many battles, taking so many headshots over the years.
Well, this referee's going to have to watch because, you know, the corner, of course, has a responsibility here too, but remember, they were part of the decision-making that put Lacy in this position, put him in this fight at this point in his career. So I think the referee's got to be the one ready. I mean, Lacy's shot. He's a shot fighter. His legs are gone. He could wind up getting hurt here. I think this fight should be stopped.
Right. Step back.
Lacy still doesn't have his legs underneath him from that first knockdown.
The referee's watching him. The referee wants to stop this fight, I think. And I think he's right. I think the fight should have probably been stopped before it was signed. I mean, look at the legs of Lacy. I mean, he's got no pins. He's got no pins. And that's neurological sometimes, where you've been in a fighter that's been in that many fights, taking that many punches, the signals don't go down to the legs. The legs, the pins, they don't look sturdy anymore. And I hate to say it, but he's got exactly the look, Lacy does, of a fighter who's been around too long. You know, those legs that just don't respond well.
Time. Put those punches in front.
All skill ain't lost. All skill ain't lost. Give me my ice pack, please. My ice pack. You okay? I need my ice pack. On the neck. Jay, you can't stand in front of him. Stand to the left. Stay to the left. Shoot to the body. You gotta stay ridiculous with this jab, Jay. All skill ain't lost.
You see the right hand there, the jab set it up, the right hand. Lacy's legs just not good. Left hook, a little push, but the leg's not steady. And again, the right hand, Lacy caught it at the end of it. That's probably why he got up. You could see at the end of the right hand, he was pulling back, took a little off it, but still, Lacy does not have the durability that he once had. And again, you see he gets pushed back in real time. He gets pushed back a little bit right into the line of fire, and then the left hand sets up a long right hand. And again, Lacy got caught on the end of the right hand. Not the full impact of it, but enough to put a 37-year-old Lacy into a bad place. The worst thing I can say about it right now is Lacy was in a bad place before he got put into a worse place. He was in a bad place coming in here.
Teddy, is it a case of his friends, his trainer, his manager simply not saying, you've done enough, it's time to walk away? Or is it Lacy saying, I don't care what you say, I'm still doing it?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not privy to that, but it's probably a combination of both. Probably a combination of, obviously there's people around him that is saying, okay, we'll go forward, we'll give it a shot. And maybe they're not realistic, maybe they don't see the truth. You know, I don't know. But and maybe it's Lacy obviously saying, no, I can do this. You know, and I still want to do it. But that's when somebody has to intercede, you know, in this business. You know, you're a baseball player that stays around too long, you embarrass yourself. But you don't get hit in the head. You know, you don't get hurt. See, that's the thing that worries me about boxing sometimes, is there's no national committee, no national commission to really make those decisions, and they're tough. Who's to say that someone doesn't have a right to make a living, to pursue a living? But there's got to be standards, there's got to be rules to protect the fighter from this kind of situation. You know, in football, baseball, and basketball, you don't have to worry about somebody going too long. You know why? A team won't sign them.
The stats show it, too.
Yeah, the stats show it, but they won't sign them. It's like the team won't sign them again. But in boxing, there's always someone that'll put a guy in as a stepping stone, and that's what Lacy's in here tonight, as a stepping stone. There's always someone who'll put a guy in a stepping stone for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000.
Not to mention, Lacy is still a bit of a name. People have heard the name Jeff Lacy. They know he used to be pretty good, and it'll look good on Barrera's resume.
I tell you, Barrera's not looking good if he doesn't get rid of Lacy. I'm going to be fair here and say both sides. Barrera needs to get rid of him, you know, and blow him out of there probably this round. If really they're going to get what they wanted out of it. They knew they had a shot fighter. They knew they had a name on his way out, and they wanted to exploit that. They wanted to take advantage of that. Well, if they're going to take advantage of it, they need to get rid of a guy that everyone can see now he should get rid of.
Somewhere in the back of Lacy's mind, he's thinking, I've still got my left hook. If I can just land it one good time.
Break. Step back. Step back. Break. Step back.
So all looked lost in round one, but as Lacy's corner said to him, all still ain't lost. He's still in there, just barely though, as Barrera catches him with a straight right.
Break. Step back. Time.
So 2 rounds in the book. Lacy still in it, at least technically, against Sullivan Barrera out of Cuba. Todd Grisham, Teddy Atlas ringside. We heard from Brian Campbell. We heard from Bernardo Osuna. We haven't heard from you.
I'm not going to throw a punch at you. I don't want you to faint right on national TV.
Thank you.
You okay? You good? You all right now? Because you looked a little peaked. You looked a little pale.
I do.
You get your color back?
All right. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. I can't even talk. He touched me. What are your thoughts on the possibility of that fight actually happening now?
It's going to happen. I put my guarantee on it. It's going to happen now because, look, what it comes down to is Pacquiao is so eager to make the fight because he doesn't have any options. I mean, he doesn't have anywhere else to really go to get the numbers that they want to get. The pay-per-view numbers that will give him the numbers in the bank account that he wants. The only thing that's been holding it up, not Mayweather being afraid, Mayweather having a chance to fight someone else first. Get a chance to fight Cotto for pretty good numbers. The key to me is you don't see Cotto. That's the ace in the hole. It's like a card game here. You don't see Cotto, well, then you're going to wind up seeing Mayweather and Pacquiao. Because Cotto would be the only reason now that Mayweather would not wind up fighting Pacquiao because he's got 2 fights left Mayweather on his contract with Showtime, guarantee of $30 million. And with an upside, you can make maybe 40, 45. With Cotto, you can do that. There's no one else out there. So you don't see Cotto. I don't see Cotto. I don't see him anywhere around. That tells me Floyd then is going to go and make the fight with Pacquiao. That fight's going to get made.
All the boxing fans, I shouldn't say all, but most, hope it happens. If anything, other than just so we don't talk about it anymore. 7 years in the making between Mayweather and Pacquiao.
Look, as big as you look better than Lacy. And Barrera, I'm not impressed with Barrera. I mean, really, it's backfiring on him. They got a fighter who it's pretty obvious is in pretty bad shape here, Lacy. And you know what? He's probably going to wind up knocking him out.
There go the legs again.
He's got to take 3 rounds to knock him out.
All right.
Lacy trying to buy time. If you stare at Lacy's legs long enough, you'll see his knees lock up.
Yeah, I mean, his legs look, you hate to make fun, but, I mean, we're not making fun, but his legs look like, you know, your grandmother's spaghetti on Sunday when she made it on Friday. You know what I mean? The legs are soggy. And when the legs are soggy with an old fighter, that means the signal's not going through to those legs. Those legs are not responding. They're not the way they're supposed to be.
Lacy, 37 years old. Barrera, 32. He's not a spring chicken.
Barrera's a lot bigger. Just look at the size difference. I mean, he's been bigger throughout his career. He's been as high as 202 pounds, half his career at cruiserweight, while Lacy has been a super middleweight his whole career.
Lacy started boxing at the age of 7. Said he got into fights at school all the time, so his dad, as punishment, took him to a boxing gym. But the lesson backfired because Lacy fell in love with the sport and has been boxing ever since. 30 years in the sport.
But it's not bad enough that Lacy has all these problems. I mean, he also has a lot of inactivity. Feels like to me, or it looks like to me, retirement. If you go back 2 fights ago, he was off 3 years, Todd. Before that, he was off almost a year and a half. So, you know, there was a reason why he was off that long.
Break. There we go.
Who would have thought that Lacy would survive 2 more rounds after how bad round 1 ended up?
Yeah, well, it tells you Barrera is not the greatest prospect in the world, as much as his people might think he is.
It's a Fox Theater flashback. Irish Mickey Ward, who's fought on Friday Night Fights 24 times. No one's been on this program more. He picked up this knockout in May 18th, 2001, right here at the Fox Theater at Foxwoods Resort and Casino. And now the doctor talking to Jeff Lacy. He's good.
Okay. Good. Neutral corner.
I don't know if you could hear the doctor, but he said, protect yourself. You got 1 round left. But as you can see,
Thanks, Tom.
there are 5 rounds left.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that really shrewd advice. Thank you, Don.
I'm a parrot.
1 point.
My
low
pinkish
blow.
skin.
1 point. Low blow. 1 point. Low blow. Okay, mira, no lo pega atrás de la cabeza tampoco. Okay, let's go. Time in. Go.
He's got a point given to him already. Can you see the bigger guy, Barrera? I mean, taller, but just bigger. Campaign a lot of his career is cruiserweight. I mean, you got a cruiserweight in there with a junior middleweight. A 37-year-old junior middleweight.
Jeff Lacy did win his last fight December 13th against Timothy Hall.
Yeah, Timothy Hall is about 4 wins and about 20 losses. And that's not really his accurate record, but he's an opponent. The fight before that, He didn't win. He got knocked out. Well, there's his record, 9-18.
Break.
You know, there are guys out there you can beat even when you're finished in your career. There are opponents out there that you can find. But the fight before his last fight, Lacy was knocked out in 2.
Well, Lacy was asked what his job is now, and he said it's still boxing. It's my job, it's my love. He just can't walk away. He's got 2 sons, a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. So they count on him, depend on him to bring money home, and this is the way, at least right now, he's choosing to do it.
No.
Lacy complaining of hits behind the head. I didn't see one, but I saw that one right to the front of the face.
This fight's going to be stopped. This fight has to be stopped.
And there it is.
You know, he took 4 rounds of damage that he didn't need to take. Because I don't believe this fight needed to be made. But that's me.
Here's the merciful end of the fight, Teddy. Take us through it.
Yeah, the left hand keeping separation, getting full extension on the right hand. Didn't come back with the left hook there the way you should after the right hand, but he didn't need to. Barrera again finding a home for the right hand. Lacy trying to counter in between, but at this point in his career, he's a little late. And there's the right hand that started his demise. Here's the very end. The referee had seen enough. He's seen enough all night long. And he finally pulled the plug on this one. Look, all the heart in the world, Lacy, and I don't take that away from him. He's got the heart of a former champion, and he showed that, but his days are gone. It happens.
Now for the official particulars, we send it up into the ring. Here's Phil Tufano.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 2 minutes, 5 seconds of round number 4. Referee Mike Ortega calls a halt to the action. Your winner by TKO victory and still undefeated in the blue corner, Sullivan Barrera.
So Sullivan Barrera, a winner by TKO, 15-0 now with 10 knockouts in his professional career. Hopefully for him, he gets a sterner test in his next bout. We expect a much more competitive contest coming up in our main event. Carl Dargan, undefeated, 17-0 with 9 knockouts, facing off against Canadian Tony Lewis. That's coming up. We are live at the Fox Theater, getting set for our main event. But first, let's look back at what was supposed to be a great fight weekend. The trilogy finale between Alvarado and Rios, but boy, did it disappoint, unless you're a fan of Brandon Rios. It was all one-way traffic. We thought that Alvarado would try and fight on the outside and not get into a slugfest. Turns out he didn't do either one of those things. He was a human punching bag as Rios landed 6 times as many punches. Alvarado retired on his stool at the end of round 3. It's time to look like a champ, brought to you by Just for Minutes, our CompuBox statistics, and look at the punches thrown and landed. Rios, 120 landed. Alvarado, just 20. He only threw 87. Alvarado, even after the fight, acknowledged that he didn't train properly, Teddy. He wasn't in shape to go in there in this fight. What do you think the future holds for both these men?
Well, I mean, look, the future, Rios has a future. Alvarado doesn't right now. That's the second time he's quitting a fight. He quit against Provodnikov on his stool. You know, at least he tried a little bit more, but he took a beating. He quit on the stool, and he quit the other night. I mean, that's one thing you don't want to see a fighter do. First of all, he put his signature on the contract. He took the $750,000 or what, somewhere around there that he made, and he wasn't ready, but he took the money, and he has an obligation to be ready. He wasn't. He paid the price. He took a terrible beating, but then in the end, he got out of it by quitting. I mean, when the referee, the uppercut worked all night long for Rios. Actually, any punch he threw was going to work because Alvarado was just a punching bag. But the referee asked him, hey, do you see, how many fingers do you see? He put 2 fingers up, and he said 4. I mean, you don't have to be the Mason Kreskin. I know I'm not in his mind, and I'm not in his body, but please, Todd, everybody out there, we're not fools. I mean, he didn't see 4 fingers, but he said 4 fingers because that was his way of getting out of punishment. He didn't have another way. He didn't have a way of going and throwing punches, moving his head, digging to the body. That was his way to get out of taking that beating the rest of the night. So he fabricated how many fingers he saw. Look, probably his corner should have done the right thing and not had him in that position. They should have probably stopped the fight so he didn't have to embarrass himself as a fighter that way. But again, he did the one thing that you never want to see a fighter do. He spit the bit. He quit.
He did quit. It looks like Alvarado's next fight is going to be in a courtroom as he faces felony charges. It is now time